Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Here with one of my good pals, Mr. Shane Watson. How are you, mate?
All good, mate. What's happening?
Not much. January is dead.
Dry.
But yeah, it's very dry.
In more ways than one.
I definitely didn't do dry January, and I know you didn't do dry January either. So, here today for a little press conference. Lawrence Okoli defends his world titles for the second time in a good fight. Mr. Hedges is on the bill as well, and mate, he's massive. Like out of nowhere, he's always been tall. But out of nowhere, he's just become a fucking unit.
Yeah, he's becoming a little bit more of a fridge freezer these days, isn't he? But see that photo of him and Johnny Fisher as well. He's massive. But yeah, he got him a 6th rounder on the bill. A guy with a winning record coming to win. Just a little step up for him. Looked really good last time out against Ben Thomas, who was coming to give it a good go as well. Hurt him a few times. So yeah, got a lot of confidence in John. He's fighting just 6 rounds again at the O2. Big bill. And yeah, I'm actually really excited about him because he didn't have the dream debut that maybe everyone thought he was going to have. And it knocked his confidence a lot. So we're only starting to see little shades of how good John actually is now. And I think I've got the right opponent for him next time. I think you'll see an even better John Hedges. And he's getting bigger all the time. So that means he's going to be punching harder. He's getting stronger. When he turned pro at 18, he was almost just like a boy. But he's becoming a bit more like a man now. So I'm really excited about John Hedges, actually.
Obviously, I'm good pals with John, so I kind of know a lot about sort of how he dealt with things after the debut. But just from knowing him well and him being an S-Jam fighter, what was said after his pro debut? Because obviously you get that hype around you. As soon as you're signed by Matchroom, everyone goes, oh my God, this kid's going to be the next big thing, even if they haven't seen you fight once. Right? So he has the debut, doesn't go to plan, still gets the win on his record. But I know with the criticism, especially when he was 18, that's tough for anyone to take.
Yeah, no, of course it is. And I think sometimes fans, because it's a matchroom fighter, they almost want to hate and be negative. And like, oh, he lost that fight. If you actually watch it back, he actually didn't lose that fight. I mean, maybe a draw at the worst, but he still, I think I still had him around ahead at the final bell. But listen, that's a long time ago now. The main thing was from that was to make sure he was still confident, making sure he was still happy and stuff like that. Moved him onto a new trainer, Mark Tibbs. And the improvements there are very visible. He's getting better all the time. He's still a young man, 19 years old. So he's got bags and bags and bags of time to develop into an all-round fighter. And he's only a small margin away there now. But more and more experience, more and more confidence, I'm sure he'll be a complete fighter. I mean, he's got a lot of ability. He had a very good amateur career. I mean, you don't achieve the things he achieved in the amateurs if you're a bad fighter. So, but, he's looked very good since then. And he's got a good opponent, fighting a guy with a winning record for the first time as a pro. So that'll do things for him mentally when he gets the victory there as well. And I'm really looking forward to it, actually. Really looking forward to it. And he's improving all the time. He was sparring Dan Aziz recently, and I actually went down to watch that spar. And Dan Aziz, very good fighter, obviously British champion, firing at full cylinders. And John looked very good in that spar. So, yeah, I'm very, very confident of him moving forward.
Just says a lot about his size as well, the fact that he was sparring someone like Dan Aziz. Just moving on, I know there's something you kind of wanted to clear up for yourself and in terms of S-Jam. Obviously, Sam Jones is working with Probellum now, which we know he's done a few interviews speaking about it, and obviously you can see him promoting some of the Probellum stuff online. You are now the Chief Operations, Chief Offer, if I can get the words out, just call it that, it's COO.
But yeah, so Sam's left to go to Probellum now, which I wish him all the best. Still a good friend of ours, still speak all the time. Usually about Derby being in administration, which obviously is shocking. And obviously I've had a bit of a relation to that. Rangers went through a tough period some years ago, but we're top of the world again now, and obviously Derby are bottom of it. So still struggling to find an owner as well. So we'll shed a few.
Not friends after this then?
Yeah. Well, apparently they've got a new bid in every 2 minutes, haven't they? But no one actually pays money, do they? So a little bit like their players at the moment not getting paid. But they're running out of business. But so yeah, we joke about things like that. But yeah, like Sam's moved to Probellum now. I hear he's doing very well there. Looks like he's doing well. Obviously, they've got some massive shows coming up too. But it's a shame to see Sam going away. But things move on, time go. You never know what can happen. What's around the corner. He's gone to Probellum, and now I've been, thanks to Adam for giving me the opportunity at such a young age, has been given to fill the void basically. So that's it with S-Jam now.
Yeah. So sort of Sam was obviously very vocal in that role, wasn't he? So I think it was quite a quick turnaround from Sam, sort of what people saw as jumping on the scene, and the next thing you knew, Sam become extremely well known across the board in boxing, and now you're in that role, taking over from someone who, like I said, was very vocal, was very well known. Is it a big shoes to fill sort of job?
Do you know what? Big shoes to fill in the sense of like what I was doing before. So I didn't have many key decisions over like fighters' careers. I mean, Adam will always have the final say because Adam's the gaffer, he's the boss at the end of the day. But he gives me a lot of leeway, so like I can make quite good decisions as well. He trusts me, trusts each other as a team at the end of the day. But so it's like a lot to feel in that way. Like I'm helping fighters all the time now, and I'm a lot more hands-on. And obviously, I've travelled to Vegas and Mexico for Darius' AB2. So yeah, in that way, yes. But big shoes to fill in. I don't feel necessarily like I have to go out and be that vocal. Like, I don't need to go out there and say X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. I'll speak on behalf of my fighters always, and I'll back my fighters all the way. Literally all the time. But I don't feel the need to go out there and like, I don't know, be at a press comment table with Joe and maybe shout and say this. But Sam's very good at it. That maybe I can't replace him that way because maybe he'll be way better than I ever will be. But for me, it's more about just making sure I'm representing the fighters, making sure that they're happy, everyone's happy, their careers are going in the right direction, and talk when necessary. Like obviously, if you want to do interviews and give updates on fighters' careers, where they're at, any news and stuff like that, then always, yeah.
One fighter that obviously now you're involved with a lot more heavily with these decisions is Joyce. I was with both of you in Vegas. He was out there training and whatnot. And we're kind of just waiting. Obviously names, especially with heavyweights, are always like teetered about. It's always just names sort of chucked in a pot, and two always end up getting pulled out and spoken about. Char was one that was sort of the most recent. But yeah, I suppose we're just waiting. You'll know more than us. Can you tell us anything about Joe's next opponent?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is with the heavyweight division, as everyone knows right now, I mean, the WBC keep putting it back. I mean, it got put back again last night, didn't it? I think for 48 hours. Then it probably get put back again, I would imagine. But I can't imagine a massive deal was going to happen in 48 hours. But it's obviously a bit of a mess at the moment. Not even a mess in a negative way. I mean, it kind of in a positive way, really. I mean, any massive fight can happen right now, so it's a good place to be. Joe's number one. We really wanted the Tyson Fury fight because Tyson Fury needed an opponent. He weren't going to fight Dillian Whyte, and I think Joyce knocked out Tyson Fury personally. I think you watch Fury against Wilder. He was hurt, and Wilder didn't know how to jump on him and let his hands go because he had nothing left in the tank. There's one guy who has plenty left in the tank every time he fights, and that's Joyce. But that fight didn't happen. So we'd fight any of the world champions really, but we're looking to have a big fight in May. We're talking to one guy specifically who we really want to fight, but you know what boxing can be like, man. It's not easy. It's difficult to get these things over the line, but we've got a few names that we would like. We've got one that we really, really want, very highly ranked, very well known to the British public too, and we'd like to have that in May because Joe's healing from his arm injury really well, ahead of time actually as well. So he's going to be flying back out to Vegas soon. I think the next maybe 4 to 5 weeks. So camp's ready to go. But yeah, it needs to be a world level fighter now because we need people talking about Joyce. We need people thinking, yeah, we want to see him in there with Usyk, Fury, Joshua, Wilder, or whatever. And you need to be fighting world level guys to keep your name relevant, especially in this mix at the moment. So
yeah, I was literally going to say, does it have to be someone big? Because when you go back through Joe's past opponents, he can't go into a fight now with someone that is considered a C-level heavyweight, can he? Because it just won't be accepted by the public. Yeah,
and it's not even just that. I mean, that's obviously one key reason. You need to be able to sell. Everyone needs to get paid. But secondly, it's not just that. It's like if you go into, let's say he does fight Fury next, or he fights AJ, or he fights Usyk next. Imagine you've just gone and fought some C or D level guy. That's terrible preparation to fight one of the elites. You need to be fine at world level, and then you can step it up again to go to the proper elite level. Like you can't just go from fighting. I'm not going to say any names, but like someone a lot lower level, like let's say even like domestic level, and then you go straight in there against one of the best in the world. It's like whoa, it's a big jump. So I mean, when you have Ismail Salas in your corner, I think anything's possible anyway. But yeah, I think preparation-wise, he needs to be fighting top quality fighters. So May we get a top quality opponent.
And do you think that potentially before the end of the year he could fight finally for a world title?
Oh yeah, 100%. Listen, he would fight for a world title now anyway. We wanted to fight Usyk when we thought we were going to fight Usyk. He really, really wanted that fight, obviously because of the amateurs and whatnot, and everyone was writing him off. But yeah, we'll fight for any world title whenever we can get one. But the WBO is the route we went down. We chose to go down. We respect the WBO. But Joe is also only number 2 in the WBC as well. So when we thought Fury might be vacating the belt because there was problems going on over the White case, well, we were like, well, we're number 2, so Wilder's number 1. I don't know what's going on with him at the moment. So who would have known? Like Joyce against Dillian Whyte, that sounds like quite a tasty fight, doesn't it? But yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's a bit of a mess right now. But I think we're getting close to sorting that mess out. I think surely in the next couple of weeks there's got to be an announcement on what's going on, no matter which way it's going. So, but Joe will be fighting for the world title towards the end of this year or early next year at the latest, I would have thought.
Right, just one final thing. The Run for Bull. How has he done that many tickets out of his hand? That's a joke, isn't it? 2,500, is it now? That is obscene. That is one of the best ticket sellers this country, out of hand ticket sellers this country has ever seen, I think.
100%. And do you know what the most crazy thing about this is, right? So I was speaking to Big John, always a great conversation with Big John, shout out, the king of the Romford Army. But so yeah, I was speaking to Big John about the tickets, and they'd only got given a set amount, and then they sold them out, I think, for 48 hours. I think they did.
What was the original amount? Was it just like 1,000 or something?
I think it was like 1,200. No, it was 1,500, and he'd done them in 48 hours, yeah? And then we were like, okay. And then we were like, oh, how much more can we get? Because Ali Pali originally only holds, it's not that big of a venue, and then they had to keep extending it. I think now it's gone up to like 8,000 or 9,000, I think now, all because of Johnny Fisher, by the way. And then apparently they had to start telling people to go and buy them off other fighters and off of StubHub and whatnot, because they'd completely sold out. They reckon that they could have done about 5,500 if they were given 5,500 tickets. He's fighting in a 6-rounder, by the way, just to confirm, against a Spanish guy who is just ex-Spanish heavyweight champion. He actually beat Torero, his last opponent. Went to points of Rivas and that as well. So, but he's like 10 wins, 11 defeats. So he's not fighting some, like, you know, former European champion or anything. And he would have honestly have sold 5,500 tickets minimum if he was given them. So it's crazy fan base. And he's only his 5th professional fight. I don't know how it's happened, but it's happened anyway. And if you're not going to be in the Ali Pali February 12th, shame on you, because you're going to miss an electric night. It's going to be unbelievable. Can't wait.
Just quickly, obviously, he won't be overlooking his opponent because at this stage he needs to win and look good as well. But is it kind of not dangerous in a way, because you say he could do 5,000 tickets, right? And what do you do after this? Where do you put him? Because he would have to go in a massive arena, and it'd have to be fairly high-ish up the bill. Like, he can't do a 10,000 seat arena if he wants to max the ticket sale. So from here on in, are we literally looking at someone who, even if he is fighting 6-rounders, is going to be like high up on O2 bills? Because you kind of have to.
Go international. I think the plan is to build Johnny Fisher into a global superstar. I mean, he's got the fan base here already. That's been set in stone. Obviously, he's still got to stay loyal to that fan base. But that fan base will follow him everywhere. They'll all get double vaxxed out of nowhere. And they'll run that plane to Vegas, to Spain, to Italy, wherever we've got to go. They'll all be there with their vaccinations and whatnot. And
the queues at the Romford GP Centre going miles down the road. So that is, I know Johnny spoke about and Eddie spoke about like sending him to America and everyone having a good time out there. The plan is to make sure he gets to America this year and then build him that way,
And also, Johnny Fisher's, not to look too far ahead, because we don't look too far ahead of any of our guys, especially like as much as his opponent isn't a world beater, he actually lost on points like Rivas, and he's lost on points like Romanov, who obviously dropped wild on the amateurs and that. Like, this guy isn't like no pushover, but he's someone we're very confident that Johnny would do a good job on. But and he's ex-Spanish heavyweight champion as well. I think might actually be the current one actually, but whatever. But yeah, so the plan is to build him into a proper superstar, get him around the world. Listen, he deserves it as well, because he's worked very hard, he's built a great fan base, and now he deserves to reap the rewards for that and go international. I think the fans in America would love him. It'd almost be like the Ricky Hatton days. Not that I want to disrespect Ricky Hatton by talking about that too much, because what he did was incredible. But can you imagine, like, 1,500 boys from Essex, from Romford, going out to watch, I don't know, on the undercard of like maybe like someone like Jesse Vargas or something? It'd just be mental. They wouldn't even know what's hit them, would they? They think they're just coming into a normal silent arena, and they've got all these Romford geezers in here, probably having scraps and all sorts in the crowd. It'd be outrageous. Can't wait for it. I hope you don't have a scrap with me though. I don't want to be involved in the scraps. You know what I mean, I'm not like these boys from Romford. I'm just a boy out of Glasgow. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Your team Romford boy wouldn't happen anyway. Shane, top man, thank you very much for speaking to me. And you obviously look forward to seeing John do his thing, Johnny do his thing, and you obviously everyone waiting patiently for Joe's next opponent.
100%. Nice one, mate. Stay tuned. Sweet.